rolling! Yeah! All night long.
What is going on? Making a Walk podcast, episode 24. It's the Kobe edition. You got the purple in the background for Kobe. I see that.
Wait, why for Kobe?
And you got the 24. It's episode 24. He wore number 24, episode 24. No? You don't see the correlation here?
Kobe. I'm hearing like an L, like Kobe.
No, Kobe. No. Colby, like Colby Jack Cheese. Nobody cares about that. We're talking about Kobe Bean Bryant. That's what we're talking about.
All right, you got
That's
it.
what you got
I
in the
like
background.
it. Yeah.
So as usual, like, subscribe, share. Make sure you're sharing. That's the big thing. Share to all your friends and family, whoever likes combat sports or just likes to hear two people talk about random shit. Like, share it with them, and comment. We need a lot of engagement. So this weekend's card is pretty crazy. I don't know. This is a question I have for you. Are you more excited now that it's Alexander Volkanovski facing Islam Makhachev, or were you more excited when it was Charles Oliveira against Islam Makhachev? Both of these
That's
rematches.
tough. Yeah, it's tough. Volk, that's my favorite fighter. So yeah, it's gonna be Volk. I was getting excited about Charles. I like Charles too. I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm more excited about this one. What about you?
I'm more excited about this one, but it's not because of either Charles or Volkanovski. It's the chaos that's surrounding everything that's going on, with it being short notice, with us learning that he was 181 pounds when he got the call. So he needed to drop, 25 pounds.
20 something, yeah.
26. Yeah. Just the
12
chaos
days. I
that
can't even lose
created.
10 pounds in fucking 3 months. Yeah, Dana McMahon. He's on his shit right now. The craziest thing I feel happening in
crazy.
The craziest thing is giving Khamzat and Usman the opportunity at the belt, the winner of this match. That's probably the craziest thing to me, because makes no sense.
Okay, wait. We're gonna pin that, because I want to dig into that one, because that's a very interesting statement that you just made right there.
Okay, we'll move on.
So
we'll talk about it.
I'm gonna pin it. So let's start at the top of the card. Alexander Volkanovski, your favorite fighter.
Let me look at the card. Because
oh yeah, that's important.
There's so much happening. I'm like, when I did my research the first time it changed, and I'm make sure I'm looking, nothing has changed since then. All right, I'm up. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, you ready? Okay. Well, do you want to start at the top of the main card?
Yeah,
or you want to start at the bottom? You want to start it?
Yeah.
Start at the top?
Okay.
So yeah, Alexander Volkanovski filling in short notice against Islam Makhachev. It's a rematch of the fight that Islam Makhachev won. Some people think he lost. Whatever. The important people, the three judges, said that he won, and he walked out of there with a unanimous victory. So, or unanimous decision. When you look at this fight versus that fight, do you think that fight has anything to do with this fight at this point, because of how short notice it is and how chaotic this is?
Man, it's hard to say, because you're I don't know if Volk's going to be the same fighter. I don't know if Islam's going to be the same fighter. It's that short notice thing. It's in Abu Dhabi. That's a totally different time zone for them. I don't know. The answer is I don't know. I'm not sure if it's going to have anything to do with it. Especially Volk coming off of surgery as well. We don't know how that's going to
Yeah.
affect him. He
I feel
hasn't
like
had a
that's
full
super
camp
understated.
either. Yeah.
Yeah, true.
he just
Like
he
that's
doesn't have a
been
full
really,
camp.
really understated.
Okay, so I'll do it this way. I'll let me talk about Volk first, like my thoughts, how I think he's going to show up or whatever, and move on to Islam. But I think, okay, surgery. It's going to be in Abu Dhabi. It's short notice. He doesn't have a full camp. Um, I think that's all of the issues I feel would come up for him. For Islam, I think it really only is, it's a different fighter. He's fought him before, but nobody knows who's going to show up, what Volk is going to
True.
show up. So on the pros for Islam, I think having Habib on his side is a big up for him mentally. I don't know why, but I don't know. He draws something from him. Fucking power of the Black Panther. I don't know what it is, but for Volk, I think he feels he was so close, and a lot of people see it that way. I think at beating Islam the first fight, and
Yeah.
if he was able to defend, one of those takedowns that gave Islam so much control time, unfortunately, he most certainly would have won that fight. And Islam was really rocked on, I think in the 5th round, I want to say. I don't think he knew where he was. So it was very close in terms of what I'm hearing about who does or doesn't have anything to lose. You know what? I don't really like that sentiment. What the fuck? Why would a fighter not have anything to lose? This is a fight game.
Yeah.
There's a lot to lose, I'm sure. Now, if you look at it like, if Volkanovski loses, what would be the outcome for him and things like that? Well, then I think this is going to be huge for him in terms of wanting to move to the next weight class and then getting that opportunity again at fighting there, unless he stays there. And for Islam, why would you want to lose your belt to a person that's coming up? So they both have something to lose here.
It's true. Yeah.
What do you think?
I definitely agree with that. I think that I've heard a lot of people saying that Volk doesn't have anything to lose, but I agree he has a lot to lose. There hasn't been, I can't think of a time where somebody got the opportunity to be champ a multitude of times. Like that doesn't happen very often, and if you weren't successful in your bid before, it's not very often that they give it to you again. And I know that we're in the champ era, but to think that they're going to give him another opportunity in the relative near future is, he's going to have to do a lot of work to do it. Like he would almost have to leave the division, the featherweight division, go up to lightweight and work his way up. Like, who wants to do that at 35 years old? So I think that there's a lot to lose.
That part.
And I actually put out a poll question on that about what people would do in his position. So far, what I saw was, a lot of people were saying that they would just take the fight as is, but I think that they're not really seeing the fact that if he loses, even if it's a close fight, like he's not going to get that chance again. And he realizes that, he knows that. And he said that in an interview. But him being him, he has ultimate confidence in himself to that what he saw in the first fight and how he ended the first fight. He feels like he can take that and basically make it an extension. Like instead of this being round 1, this is really round 6, and go from there. Because in reality, if there was 6 rounds in that last fight, he would have won. But we don't know. We don't know how he's going to come in, and we also know that strategy isn't necessarily going to be at the forefront. It's going to be more about making sure that he can be in fight shape and make sure that he can hit weight. That takes away all of the thought process that you put on strategy and puts it more on the operations of getting to the fight. So I think that that's what's going to be on his mind. And then Islam, to your point, you said that he's changed opponents, and I think that his camp was geared towards a fighter like Charles Oliveira. Volkanovski is not that type of fighter. He's great in his own right, and it's in a different way. So he didn't train for that type of person. He has, he can go back and check his archives for the notes that he had on Volkanovski the first time, but it's not the same as preparing for him this time. So even though I still reluctantly stick with my pick that Islam will get it done, I think that they're both at a disadvantage coming into this. And I think that Volkanovski is going to be even more pushed to try to get Islam hurt early, to try to take advantage of his speed and not lean so much on his cardio, which he hasn't had a full camp to prepare for. Even though I'm still picking Islam, just because it just seems like it's just too soon. I feel like he needs a full camp.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, this is a who do I want to win versus who I think is going to win. I think Islam's going to win. And that is totally dependent on how bad this weight cut was for him. I know that was a big issue in the previous fight. I don't know if you remember seeing the clip of him FaceTiming Habib and telling him, Habib was like, why didn't, you do a takedown and get them out? You didn't capitalize on that. And Islam was like, dude, this weight cut was fucked. So everything that we saw, he confirmed on that FaceTime. And even when you look at, I think, he's got his YouTube channel. I'm looking at him now and I'm like, that looks pretty familiar. That's what I want to see. I want to see, is he overcoming this weight cut? Because sooner or later he's moving up. And that's what I'm excited about. There's a lot of fighters in this weight class that I think should move up because of their age. And you can tell it's not that they can't do the weight cut, but that's exhausting. That's tiring. Keep coming down like this, and
their performance suffers due to the weight cut.
Yeah.
I think that now I don't know if you've seen this, but there was an interview during this media run, and Islam said that he is going to the Leon Edwards versus Colby Covington fight. He will be in the audience if he wins this fight.
That's dope.
And he will challenge the winner for that belt. Now, I disagree wholeheartedly with him going to challenge for that belt. I do not think that the UFC should do that. I don't think that somebody who still has yet to challenge and defeat a lightweight who has a lightweight win on their record as a title defense, I don't think that person should be able to go and challenge for a belt, but it's business. So he's going to go there and see if he can step in the cage and challenge whomever wins that. Hopefully that's Leon Edwards, but whomever wins that. And so that's going to be interesting, but we got to get there first.
Like, and sorry, I was just going to say, I think it almost feels like a transitionary period for a lot of these weight classes. You could say the same, more or less, right, about Volkanovski. Now, he's had his title defenses, so there's a little bit more leeway for him to move to the next weight class, like he's move to the next weight class to fight for the belt. I think it's okay for him to do that, but I hope he stays there. And then just a new chapter at a different weight class, another challenge. Now for Islam, is it fair? I don't know. But you're right, it is a business. I just hope that if he moves to this new weight class and they give him the opportunity at the belt and he wins, that he stays and defends the belt in that weight class, because it gives the lightweight division more movement, just almost a fresh start, because he's held it up. And that's not a knock on him. Things have happened, and in fact he took on crazy opportunities like Volk, a monster.
Yeah.
So
true.
I'm totally okay with that transitionary period, and it just depends on the outcome, but we never know what that's going to be. So,
Very true.
I think really the last thing I wanted to talk about, like with Islam and Alex, even though my pick is going to be Alex, I'm really curious what Islam's going to do with his striking.
Hmm.
Because everybody knows, yeah, you're an elite grappler. We get that. But if you're going to be the champ, I just want to see someone that is a more holistic, you know, mixed martial artist. So with his striking, even though it is great and better than Habib, something I do remember seeing from him in Volk was how it was more counter striking than anything, and it was just like a
Hmm.
one time jab situation, and even though it was super powerful, very precise, and that was enough to hurt Volk, that's not going to work in this next weight class. That shit's not going to fly. That's going to get caught.
Yeah,
So,
some
and
big
he's
boys up there. Some big
mhm.
boys.
Yeah, it wouldn't even work on
Yeah,
Kobe. So,
yeah.
we'll
And
see what he does.
his jaw is still probably suspect. Who knows? But speaking of transitionary periods,
Mm.
we've got Kamaru Usman, who is transitioning to middleweight to fight
Mm.
Khamzat Chimaev in another short notice fight for both men. Obviously, Khamzat was originally scheduled to fight Paulo Costa, but Paulo Costa literally has a hole in his elbow. I don't know if you've seen the picture, but it is gross. And
Unfortunately.
I'm not gonna put the picture up in the edit because I don't want to see the shit.
I don't
It's
want to see that shit
nasty.
either. It's
Um,
gross.
and and credit to Paulo Costa, he really did try to make it to this fight. He really did. But
Mhm.
Kamaru Usman, former UFC welterweight champion, who will be on my list for top welterweights that will be coming out in a few days or so. But going up to 185, I've seen the pictures. Dude looks virtually the
Massive.
same. Um,
I thought he looked massive.
he's a big dude at welterweight, and I think he's a big dude at middleweight, but he's just not
Mhm.
as tall. But his reach is comparable to other middleweights, and that's what I always worry about when somebody goes up. But um, here's the thing. Here's the thing that a lot of people kind of discount when it comes to Kamaru Usman is his ability to get ready for something this short notice. One, dude always stays in the gym. He always stays ready.
Yeah.
Two, when he fought Jorge Masvidal, that was on 9 days' notice. Now,
Mhm.
that he was coming to defend his belt, and he knew that he was going to fight at some point, but it was
Yeah.
still short notice as far as the opponent. So um, he had an easier path to victory when it came to Jorge Masvidal, which was literally just pushing up against the cage and step on his toes. But I think that he understands how to get ready for short notice. This isn't going to be a shock to him, and I think that he's going to use the tools that he has in his bag to be ready for this matchup. And this is not the first time that he's even thought about fighting Khamzat Chimaev. He's been calling Khamzat Chimaev out. So
Mhm.
this isn't a revelation for him. He's an all-time great, and all-time greats do all-time great things. I think that Kamaru Usman has way more of a chance than the odds give him. But I think that Khamzat Chimaev's speed, his relentlessness, and his pressure, I think that's going to wear Kamaru down. And I think that we might see Kamaru have to operate off of his back for an extended period of time for the first time in his career. You remember in that first round against Leon Edwards, it was a problem. And I think that if Khamzat is able to get him down, which won't be easy at all, he has the best takedown defense of all time. If he does get him down, which I think that he will, it's going to be a really bad situation for Kamaru Usman. I'm picking Khamzat Chimaev to win this fight and challenge for the middleweight title against Sean Strickland.
Mm. Very well said, good sir. I'm going Kamaru. That's what my heart says. My bingo card says Khamzat Chimaev wins a fight.
You
So
really
I
picking with your
win
heart on
either
these two,
way.
ain't you?
You know what I'm saying? Because I just went back and I watched Kamaru with
With
let's
Gilbert,
see, Gilbert, and then I watched Kobe 1 and 2. And I
yeah,
really think it has everything to do with his fight with Gilbert because he was rocked in the first, and I realized um, how well he recovers in these scenarios. And even when he's clearly rocked, he's still pressing forward. I think he came back with a massive uppercut to Gilbert. So I was like, God damn, this guy doesn't die. Um,
yeah.
his man, I think he does really well slowing down the fight when it needs to be slowed down. I'm curious
Mm-hmm.
about, his wrestling because of his knee injuries. Um, I really wish this fight was 5 rounds. I'm gonna be honest. I
I would. That would
don't
change my
know
pick.
that Hamzat. Yeah, I don't know that Hamzat. Well, we haven't seen it. We don't know. So we don't know what we don't know.
Yeah,
But based off Hamzat's last fight with Gilbert, if that would have been 5 rounds, I think the possibility of
I
him
think
losing would
Gilbert
be
would have
a lot
won.
higher. Because now
Yeah,
you're talking about two people that most certainly have experience going 5 rounds. So this being 3 rounds, because of everything you literally said about Hamza, it just makes it does make the odds at what Usman winning a little bit lower. I still want him to win,
yeah.
though. I want him to win.
I think it would be magical if Usman wins, and I would be
Yeah.
extremely happy for him and excited
hmm
for that rematch. With him and Sean Strickland. I think that would be amazing. Um, I just
No.
think that because of this being a 3-round fight, Khamzat Chimaev is going to be able to sprint the entire time, at least 2.5 rounds. And whereas if it were a 5-round fight, I think Kamaru would take over at the end. So
Mm.
I don't know, but because of it being 3 rounds and not a main event fight, I think that plays directly into Khamzat Chimaev's hands.
Mm. Yeah. I'm
I
gonna
want to
win
pick
either way,
Usman
though,
though. I want
right?
to. I really want to.
Because
Well, how you gonna win either?
I win either way. Because if
You
if
picked
Kamara
Usman.
wins, yeah. But my bingo card says Chimaev, so I win either way.
Wait, what does it say?
I'm
What does
happy.
it
I'm
say?
happy with each outcome.
Chimaev wins.
Wins a fight. Chimaev wins a
Um,
fight because I didn't know what the hell was happening. This was December of last year. Okay, I had no
yeah,
idea what Chimaev was going to be doing. So
nobody did.
like, okay, well,
Nobody
he
did.
wins a fight. Whatever fight he does within the next year, he's gonna win at least one. I just, this is unfortunate that
Yeah,
he's going up against Usman. Man, he gets a lot of hate. Usman gets a lot of hate about being a boring fighter and all this. Just, I haven't seen a boring fight, and the only boring fight was with him and Jorge. One, what the hell else did you want the man to do against Jorge on short notice?
yeah. You can't sit there and strike with Jorge on short notice. Jorge's gonna tear your head off. Don't do that. So I mean,
Yeah.
He did the smart thing. He did the smart
Mm-hmm.
thing, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that the whole boring fighter thing kind of goes back to before he won the title. Before he won the title, like he went on a
Fair.
run, like
Fair.
a
Fair.
decision run,
Okay. Then I'll
and
rephrase.
I was even in the camp of like, I mean, does he finish fights? But then
Yeah.
when he became champ and he
Yeah.
really dug into training with Trevor Whitman, like
Mm-hmm.
things changed and he started knocking motherfuckers out. And like, I mean, what he did against this will be on my list later on. We have a YouTube video that's coming out later that talks about our how do we call it, our top five or our top fights,
Oh, the
or
Elite
I can
Five. Elite Five.
the Elite Five. So it talks about our favorite fights. And spoiler alert, that fight is on mine. His fight number one against Kobe Kamaru. It felt like a race war, and so
Yeah.
a lot of pressure on him to win, and he came through. Oh, he came through. That was his seminal magical moment, and so does he have another one in him? I don't know, because this is it. This is the place.
It's
This
funny
is
you
the
say
place.
that.
Him and Volk have the opportunity to do something amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they also have the opportunity to fall on their face.
That's true. Yeah. Well, there's so much to say about this fight. We do have some other fights that we want to touch on, and not too much, but I really want Kamaru to win.
Yeah.
He turned me into a softie when he cried after the Gilbert Burns fight, and that was his friend. So that
Yeah.
right
Yeah,
there,
that was emotional. I think
you don't see
what?
that today.
That's a
They're
good thing
all
to
like,
put as a
"That's
short.
my friend. I don't want to fight my friend," and I get that. Well, before this fight, I didn't. I was like, "It's the UFC. What do you mean?" When I saw
Yeah.
Usman transform into, I gotta win this fight. He's not my friend anymore. And as soon as the fight was over, it was
Yeah.
clearly an
He almost
internal
couldn't contain
struggle.
himself.
Yes, I was like, "Is
Goodness.
he crying?" Oh,
Like, he was
like,
very, very sad.
yeah. It just
He was
first
very sad.
it made me understand why they don't want to fight their friends, but
Yeah.
two, the respect now that I have for him and Gilbert for fighting each other, because Gilbert was sad too. He was emotional
He
about it
was.
too.
And I
So
think that
I
if he
get it
would have
now.
won, he would have been happy sad. It would have been bittersweet.
Yeah, yeah.
But
It's a whole new
it's the
level
fight
now.
game, man. It's a
Fighters
fight game.
fighting
And
friends. Aljo
that's
got to get
tough.
on that level. Marab got to get on that level.
I think if people really took stock of themselves and said, okay, who's your best friend? Who is your best friend? Would you fight them? Would you actually go in trying to knock them out or submit them or put them to sleep? Would you actually really do that for money and for prestige? Would you really do that? Then look at Aljamain and look at Marab and look at how they are together. Like, that's a very difficult thing to do, to put your feelings aside and do that. So, I mean, I know I hear a lot of people say, they do these things in the training room. Yeah, to a certain extent. But I think that there's a limit in the training room. In the training room, you're not trying to hurt the other person. So,
Yeah.
I agree with you as far as Kamaru and just having a different light of him. I've seen that fight a bunch of times and never really paid attention to that part. And that's a really important thing to see, to tell you the character of Kamaru Usman. But
I like the attention that's being given to the psychology of the fighters too. It's super important. So I'm sure a lot of our listeners are like, man, that shit don't matter. It matters. And if you've played sports
it
before,
does.
that shit matters, and that shit matters. But I like that a lot of the
Absolutely.
fighters that, have their podcasts, like Rob, Gilbert, they're specifically talking about what is their mental going into this fight. I think John Jones is another one, talks about that a lot.
Yeah.
So
It's a big deal.
Connor.
Yeah.
He knew that was one of his
Connor, for
biggest
sure.
weapons. I'm gonna tear them down mentally. I'm gonna tear them down before we even get into the octagon.
Yep. And Ian Gary is
Matters.
trying to do that same thing. Like, it does. It matters a lot. I mean, there's a reason that Mamba mentality is something that people talk about in different sports and in regular everyday life. It's a real thing. And it doesn't just apply to Kobe Bryant. It applies to, in different walks of life. Your mental has to be right before your physical can do what you want it to do. So, but I know we can go on that for forever, but I do
Yeah,
want to talk about
absolutely.
one more fight before we get off.
All right.
I want to talk about the other fight on the card that has title implications that nobody's talking about. Do you realize that the winner between Magomed Ankalaev and Johnny Walker can potentially fight for a belt after this fight? I think a lot of people are sweeping that fight under the rug. Think about it. We've got Yuri is going to fight Alex Pereira for the belt. Jamal Hill is not ready yet. He was promised a title shot afterwards. He's not ready yet. So who's left? Well, Magomed Ankalaev is number 2. Johnny Walker's number 5. If you get a top 5 win, then you're
Johnny
in.
Walker's 7 right now, but
7.
still.
It doesn't matter. Close enough.
Mm-hmm.
That's a top 5 win for him. That's a top 5 win. If he wins, of course he needs to call for the title shot. He should literally say, whoever wins out of Alex Pereira and Yuri Prochazka, I'm fighting the winner. That's what he should say. Don't do no worm dance. Do none of that shit. Just say that and you walk out. That's it. And then when that card comes up, you go to the fight. And Magomed Ankalaev should do the same thing. This fight is going to determine who fights for the belt next, and nobody's talking about it.
You're right. I most certainly wasn't thinking about that. It might change my pick.
It's an important fight.
Yeah, I'm going Ankalaev on this one. That might change my pick.
So I will tell you.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So in my article that I wrote for MMA Sucker, when I talked about the what should happen in the light heavyweight division, this is a fight that I said that they should make. And the reason I said that is because it benefits both of them. One, Magomed Ankalaev is coming off of that draw, lackluster fight against Jan Blachowicz that Dana White saw was so bad that he said that neither one of y'all are going to fight for a belt. Johnny Walker is coming off of a win in which Anthony Smith was telling him, what was he saying? Something about his family, about hurting his family. And Johnny was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
What?
Yeah.
What?
You remember that fight?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. So Johnny Walker needs a foil for him to be as explosive and dynamic as he is. And I think Ankalaev is going to give him that. And Ankalaev is a counter striker, so he needs somebody to be coming at him. And Johnny Walker is going to give him that. This fight has the potential to be very explosive. And one of these dudes probably not going to make it to round 3. So I think that Johnny Walker is going to catch this dude in something weird, whether it be a flying knee, some crazy punch, something. Johnny Walker's going to sit that man down and put him out. Johnny Walker's going to win by KO, and he's going to call for that title shot. Damn. That's what's going to happen. Book it.
All right. I'm with you.
You going Johnny Walker? I convince you?
You might have. I think you just did.
So why were you going with Ankalaev before?
I thought he was just his grappling. I haven't seen Johnny grapple in a while, and I don't know if that's really something that he is trying to, pull out in this fight. And I think he was going to get submitted.
It's not. I mean, it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, for sure.
As Corey Anderson calls him, Magomed Ankalaev. I think that.
What is a Corey Anderson?
Corey Anderson, man. Corey Anderson. He former UFC fighter, current Bellator top ranked fighter. He trains with Magomed Ankalaev. And so obviously, he champions him. And Jamal Hill on his channel had some words to say in response to what Corey Anderson said. But I
remember that.
Ankalaev,
okay.
You remember now?
Okay, Ankalaev.
I think that Ankalaev has the tool. Yeah, Magomed Ankalaev. I think that I think that Ankalaev does have all the tools to win this fight and be champ for sure. But I think that his tendency to let the fight come to him too much puts him in positions where he's just stagnant. And I think that Johnny's going to catch him with something that he just has no idea is coming, because Johnny is very unpredictable. Very unpredictable. So I think that's how it goes. I think that Johnny's defensive wrestling is pretty good.
I think so too. I just think that I think they're pretty evenly matched in their stand-up skills. Ankalaev has a shit ton of TKOs with straight up punches or head kicks and things like that. So, and that's kind of Johnny's thing. It's just he's got a little bit his swag to it. Is different, unexpected power, to be honest. But I think if Ankalaev, that's why I thought he would take to the ground and submit him. So
yeah, I mean that's his easiest path to victory. He needs to get the fight to the ground, because the longer he stays in stand up with Johnny Walker, the more likely Johnny throws something out of this world to catch him. The same worry that I have for anybody that faces Michel Pereira is the same worry that I have for anybody that faces Johnny Walker, because you just don't. Those two dudes, those two friends, you don't know what they're going to do, because all moves are on the table. Like there's certain, like in like traditional, like I'm sure teaching, there's certain moves that you don't pull out at certain times. You're like, okay, you're here, you can't do a spinning heel kick with your back against the cage, and the person, like, they don't care. I'm throwing whatever, whenever. And Johnny, he's kind of been a little bit more tame than he was when he first was coming up, but I think that he still got that in his bag. He's still super athletic, and I think that he pulls all the tricks out the bag, because he knows that the title shot is right there, he's right on the cusp of getting the title shot. So I think he pulls it out. I think he does.
Okay, I like it. I like the outcome. I might be going Johnny Walker here. Okay,
might be. Oh, sure. Or is this one of those?
I'm doing some on the fence shit.
The walkout. Let me wait until the walkout and look into their eyes.
I don't know. I don't know if I got to do that on this one, because I watched Embedded, and Johnny's looking in good spirits, real silly. I've seen a few clips of, like, he just looks happy, and like he doesn't seem mentally distracted by this fight.
No, he doesn't.
So I don't think I had to peer into his soul and
anything.
Yeah. Nah. Which means he's going to be really loose in the cage. So no, I don't got to peer into his soul on this one.
I don't want to see that. Don't.
No, I like the worm.
That.
Why you don't like the worm?
I just don't want to get hurt. No, the
by
worm.
Doing a worm.
The dance is fine. That's it's a classic. But
yeah. What do you mean?
But I mean,
you mean him as a fighter? You're like, dude.
Don't. No, I'm saying don't do it, because not the last time, but the time before that, he did it and injured his shoulder, and he was out for months. Like,
for real?
Don't. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that. Out here playing games.
Yeah, that's why I said don't do it, man. You're playing too much. So, I wanted to keep this one relatively short. There's other firefights on the main card. We got Saeed Nurmagomedov coming back against Muin Gafarov. That's it. And then Warley Alves taking on Ikram Askarov, and that's Alaskarov. That's on short notice. So that's another short notice. The main card got 3 short notice fights. There's only 5 fights. It's crazy. But
3 short notice in Abu Dhabi. This is gonna be a mess.
Yeah,
a good mess.
It's gonna be a good mess in the middle of the day,
and it's setting up so much shit. In the middle.
There's
of
going to
the
be
day.
some day drinking happening. It's going to be some day drinking for sure.
Who's gonna be drinking?
Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna drink. I'm gonna drink some. We'll find something.
Okay.
We got some drinks in this house.
Yeah. By the way, Saeed Nurmagomedov is also on
Yeah.
my bingo card. So that means I have 3 opportunities on my bingo card. Just want to put that out there for you, just so you know.
You know, it would be very sad if you missed on all 3.
You know what? I'll put you out the house.
Oh, that would be so glorious. So glorious.
All right. I'm
All right.
super excited for this pay-per-view. Me
too. We got some more stuff coming out. Definitely check the welterweight top 5, elite 5 that we have coming out. And what's the other one that we said? Oh, the fights, the elite 5 fights. Yeah. Definitely gotta check those out.
I'm gonna tell you, that's not called that. That's fights in rotation. Some people you got some albums in rotation.
See, I knew something different.
So what so what are you watching outside of pay-per-view?
Fights in rotation. That's a better name. That's a better name anyway. Yeah. Anyway, check that out. We'll be in your face. All right.
Bye.
Till next time.